Okay, Cody. I did decide to change a valve. I changed this one right here because you see how bad that is pitted right here? I didn't like that. So I used my spare head here and I pulled the valve out right here. Right here. I went ahead, I cleaned it up. This one here was bent. That was my experimental. It's bent right here. That's where it, see that right there? That's where it hit the piston. And I'll show you what that looks like here. Remember I showed you this before. You see that right there? That was this cylinder, and this cylinder. Both has got a gash like that in it because I put the connecting rods in wrong. The intake has got the short and the exhaust has got the long on these, and I fucked them up. But see right here, you can see that right there. That's where it hit that valve right there, or that piston. The valve hit that. But like I said, I didn't like this because it interferes with flow and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm going for fuel economy, so I'm trying to take out as much of the issues as possible because I'm not going to be keeping this devilish ass car for very long. But anyways, here nor there, I decided that's what I was going to do today. This one here doesn't look too but anyways, see right here, seeing this one here is a really bad exhaust valve. See that? That's ugly. And then you see how that's bent, as to how it doesn't sit right like this one does right here. It's not because it's sitting on the table either, it's because it's bent. It actually was like that. Let's see, where's that one at? Right about like that. And it hit the top of that piston and bent. So yeah, that kind of sucked. Other than that, the reason I replaced this is because these heads are notorious for stripping these out. And I'd stripped this one out. And I didn't have, I used up all my helicoils on this other head that I have over here to been able to fix that. So I just handed up. Otherwise, all I could have done was helicoiled it, replaced that valve off from my spare head over there, and would have been all right. But another thing with these is they got two separate size head bolts. See that? The tall one here goes on the top right here, and the small one goes on the bottom right here. That acts like it's warped. Anyway, actually, yeah, I did that right. But anyways, like this, the top one, like so, and the bottom one, like so. And then, like I was saying here, see there's a difference here. See that difference? This one's the exhaust or intake, and this one's the exhaust. So, and this is the handy universal, works on any head, any spring, valve or spring compressor. $20 at O'Reilly's. It's pretty decent. But anyways, I hope to have this thing back together later on tonight, because I need to go in town tomorrow and try to take care of some stuff. But here's your EGR, your Impala will have one, but it'll be a different design. Your throttle body, your heat exchanger. This here goes in here and then wraps around to this hose right here. I had to replace this too because the other one had broke right here, which if you go through my Facebook page, you'll see that I posted a picture of it. There's your throttle, push pull, EGR deal. And then this here I gotta figure out how to take apart because it's leaking in here somewhere, and I either need to replace it or fix it, but I'm gonna try to just get by until I can get another one. That roller, yeah. But anyways, so there's my rocker arms, and this is a 15 millimeter. Remember I said 15. Remember I was talking about 15s and 13s and 14s and stuff like that right here. 17 millimeter. This one's 15, which is right here. 14, so on and so forth. 10 millimeter, and then you have your standards, which you got your 5/8, 3/8. That's a 15 long. I could use that. These are the old head bolts. I don't know how many times they were torqued. So about every 2 or 3 torquings or uses, actually about 2 uses, they recommend that you change them out. So when I got me a head gasket kit, I made sure it had head bolts with it. And then my next video, believe it or not, after I get this put back together and situated, is I'm going to take this apart. And I'm going to see if I can set me up a selfie deal, tripod, a homemade tripod, and you can sit there and watch me take it completely apart, step by step. You and everybody else that watches on YouTube. So here's the upper intake, the wiring harness, all your injectors, and to tell you the truth, what I think it was, the whole problem the whole time, was this injector's bad. Well, luckily I know a guy in town I used to work for. He's got a whole nother intake like this that's got the injector rails on it. So I'll just have to switch this over and see, because this one here, it's stripped out right here. So it doesn't tighten up. That's not good. So what will happen is I'll go see if I can see how much he wants for his whole setup, and then I'll just go ahead. Here's your coil packs, which is the deals that I pointed out on the front of your grandpa's Impala. And this board right here, see that board? That board is what I was saying, it could go out. It's either that board or one of these, but since you said that it used to start and no longer starts once there's power to it, I would investigate into this board right here, invest in this board right here, and I would invest in that crank sensor, which is at the back of the motor, which I don't have one to show you, but is at the back of a motor that would also prevent it from starting, because you got 2 crank sensors, or at least this one does. You got one down here, which here's the wiring for it right here, if you can see. There's the wiring for it. And then you got this one right here, which I guess does go to the back, and this being a 2-prong goes right here. No, it don't. That actually goes right here, and that's a 3-prong. But anyways, it goes right here. This one here's in the other wiring harness, and this one here is over here in the other side of the wiring harness. But anyways, that one that I showed you goes right here. But but I'd invest in this plate right here as being your possible no start, and your sensor in the back of the block, which is, this might actually be your, am I seeing that right? Okay, you see that right here where my hand is at? Right here? Probably not. But that's another crank sensor. You got this crank sensor, which reads the wheel in the center of your crank. There's this one here's got a 54 pin, 54 or 64 pin wheel in the center of the crank, and that's what this one reads, and it goes up to your coil pack. So it's either this one or it's you can't see it from there, but it's either that one or it's this front one right here, which also eventually wraps. How many prong is that? It's what, 3 prong? 1, 2, 3, 5 prong. That one's probably tied into this one right here, that front one. The back one is tied here, and then there's another one that ties in over here, which I'm assuming goes to your computer as your positive, and your negative that goes to the computer. Crap. So, but anyways, there's your small little tuitional as far as tearing your 3-4 apart or your 3-8 apart. You're going to want to jack the car up to get to the one in the back. Other than that, that's all I got for you. I hope this is helpful. Alright, talk to you later.